What's up, y'all? I know it's a random video, but you probably have been wondering where we've been. We've been here. It's just been a struggle for a minute. We hadn't talked. I don't believe we had a video since Winter's birthday party. So it was a lot going on in December, with Christmas, New Year's, and all of that. And I decided to kind of take a break from it anyway. So I knew that I was just going to take a small break just to kind of recoup from everything, all the holidays, whatever. So with that being said, I hope you guys had a Merry Christmas. We're sitting on the couch right now because my husband has been ill. He's been ill since beginning of February. He's still currently ill. However, he's a little better than what he was. Each day gets a little better. So we're going to try to catch you up on the history of what has been going on from the beginning of February to where we are now, which is in the middle of March. So yeah, February, I'm gonna just go for my birthday. My birthday came this year on February the 7th, and I celebrated being 41. I am still tripping off of that, you guys. Like, I can't believe that I'm letting people know my age. Like, I feel like a grown-up right now. Like, I've kind of jumped over a hurdle in my life because, yeah, I'm accepting it, but it's okay. Moving on. But as of February the 9th, I believe, is when he took ill. He was actually at work, and you were on the forklift, and he went to get off the forklift, and I believe his leg gave out. He just fell. So I remember getting a text. He texted me. He was like, "Hey, babe, just letting you know, I was at work, and I fell off my forklift or whatever." And I was like, "You fell off your forklift? You know what?" And I'm texting, calling him, "Are you okay?" "Yeah, I'm good. I just went to step off my forklift, and my leg just gave out, and I fell." And I was like, "Oh, you okay? But are you good?" "Yeah, I'm good. I'm just drinking some water. I'm good. I don't know what happened." "Okay, cool." So from that day was the first day of his falling. Okay, and he's had many of falls from that day forward. That was the first initial day of everything actually happening. From that day forward, he was still mobile. He was still able to get around. He was still able to do things, but his leg became weaker and weaker as the days started to go on. So he did end up going to work or finishing work from that week. I want to say, when did you officially go out of work?
So I went to work because I was only going to use a half day of work and then take the other half to go to the doctor. And so that was that Wednesday. I actually went to the doctor. She was more focused on my knee, but what I was trying to explain to her was my back was at a point that it wasn't letting my knee or my leg do what it needed to do. But she set me up for a knee X-ray, and then from the knee X-ray, she assigned me to take an MRI, and from that day. It took me essentially 9 days before I had the first MRI on my knee. They came back with that I had deterioration of the cartilage and arthritis, but it wasn't explaining why I could not walk.
So by then, were you still walking? I think he was still walking. He just had a cane.
I had a cane.
I brought him a cane because he had so many falls. He fell in a restaurant parking lot. He fell in another plaza parking lot. He had fell numerous times at home, going up and down the stairs, going to the bathroom, stepping off of the porch. He had fallen like so many times. So I was like, okay, let's get you a cane. And it was kind of like a joking type matter too, because at the time, you guys, I only heard what he told me. So it was like, I fell, babe, oh, fell again, babe, oh, hey, fell, you know, right here, fell, whatever, you know. And I heard him say it, but processing it, hearing it and seeing it was like two total different things. So at this particular time, I heard him telling me that he had fallen numerous times, but I had never seen it. So with him going back and forth to the doctor, she put him on muscle relaxer. She also put him on something for the pain, for his back, because by now he's like walking hunched over, like lurch, honestly. He was hunched over walking, but he was still able to walk. He just had no control over when his knee was going to give out or when his leg was going to completely give out. So that's how we were kind of playing it at that moment. So he's right. He ended up going to get the MRI done, and then something still just wasn't right. He had to come out of work, completely. She pulled him out. So he was doing physical therapy for his limbs, for his leg, and for his back. So he was leaving here one day, going to physical therapy, and I saw him get ready to leave out of the house, and that's when hearing it and seeing it came two total different things for me. So when he got ready to leave out of the house, I was watching him on the camera, and I saw him, and it's just like a small step, you guys, you know, like when you coming out of the house and you step down onto your porch. This is how it was. It wasn't like a step. No, it's just like a step down out of the house onto the porch, and then step down off of the porch to the ground. So he was stepping out of the house, and then he was going to step off of the porch, and I'm watching him as he was getting ready to step off the porch. I don't know what made me watch him. It was just like, turn on your camera and watch. And as soon as he went to go and get off of the porch with the cane, he fell completely onto the ground, and I screamed, just stay on the ground, stay on the ground. I was like, do you need help? I'll come. Do you need help? It took him a minute to actually get himself together, but he was stuck on the ground. He could not get up. He had no means of actually pulling himself up because his leg was like dead weight. It was like, honestly, as if there was no leg there whatsoever. He could not pull himself up. So immediately I told him I got to leave from work. I called my daughter, which she was close by, see if she could go and help him to just get him back into the house and get him back situated. He was actually going to leave to go and pick up our son. So I was like, oh my goodness. So I'm rushing, trying to get home so I can get to him so that I can get him situated. And that's when it clicked to me, something is wrong. Something is wrong, and you need to go back to the doctor. And he was talking to him and pretty much told him, he said, I'm gonna get an x-ray of your back, but I think I want to try to get an MRI of your back too. Set you up with the orthopedist. And T didn't know that he was supposed to see an ortho. He thought that Stedman Hawkins was a physical therapist. That he was already seeing a physical therapist. So when Stedman Hawkins called him to come in for evaluation, he declined it because he thought that it was a physical therapist, but it was the orthopedic. So the doctor he saw first wanted him to see an orthopedic, and he didn't know that. So when he went in to see our main physician, he told him, he said, you know, I want you to see an orthopedic. Stedman Hawkins contacted you. You know, you declined it, and T told him why he did. So he was like, no, let's get you in with the orthopedist because I believe like you're going to have something a little bit major done. We need to figure out what's going on with the knee, with the leg, with the nerve, whatever. So his symptoms was like in the inner thigh, numbness and tingling, couldn't really feel anything. He had become now pretty much immobile. That's when he got the news from our physician that you can no longer go upstairs. He had fallen down the stairs by now. He told him you cannot go back upstairs. You're going to have to make yourself comfortable downstairs, and our bedroom is upstairs. So he has been on this lovely couch we are sitting on right now for almost 3 weeks, going on 4, because he told him he couldn't do anything. He couldn't go upstairs. He couldn't take showers or anything because all of that is upstairs versus down. So he told him, I don't want to trust you going up those stairs without any support. And like I said, now he was literally crawling wherever he needed to go. Couldn't get up off the couch with using his legs. It's just been one of those battles. So in this process, we are now going to an orthopedic doctor, and we had to do 2 different orthopedics, y'all. I don't know if this happens wherever you are, but here in the state of South Carolina, in order for you to, any type of orthopedic physician you need to see, you cannot see, they specialize in different parts of the body, so you can't have 2 visits in one. You go for the first visit for whatever body part you want done first, which would have been like your knee. He had his knee done first, right?
Right.
And then his back done second, and they had to be 2 total different doctors done in 2 totally different days. So we go in, they pretty much tell him the same thing that the doctor told him about his knee, deterioration, arthritis. He said best thing to help that is a cortisone shot. After that, we were supposed to go and see an orthopedist for his back. We had an MRI done on that. We had to go in to have her only, okay, to read us the results and then let us know her course of treatment. But we had to cancel those appointments twice because that's when he started to become really, really ill. So this kind of catches you up now to speed, to where we are now, or what happened within the last week. So everything just started to continually fall down. We wasn't getting too much improvement. Physical therapy was still helping, but really wasn't much they could do besides working out the muscle or whatnot within his leg and his back. We were still waiting to see what the MRI results and stuff was. So now he's still downstairs. He's still on a couch. He's pretty much like a child at this moment. He couldn't do anything. Sorry. I'm not going to go into detail like that. I'm not going to go into detail like that, but I'm just letting you know that we couldn't really do much. Like stuff that we kind of take for granted, he really couldn't do much for himself. He was good, but using your bottom limbs and walking and stuff hindered him from being able to do a lot, just as much as going to getting him a drink of water, being able to shower, being able to climb upstairs. All of this stuff he could not do. He's literally stuck on this couch. So within this last week, this is where it gets really real. Monday, March the 16th.
Yeah.
He was fine. You were fine all that day, right?
No.
No. Okay.
I got up. I had shortness of breath. I'm a big guy, so shortness of breath and doing certain things, comes with the territory. I just sucked it up and said, I'm going. So I get to therapy, and my therapist, she's like, she gave me really simple exercise. There was nothing strenuous that I should have been out of air, but for some reason I just could not breathe. And so I finally finished. I sat there for a second, got a drink of water, put on my jacket to leave, and I didn't move 20 feet. And I had to sit down. The ladies had to get a chair for me, and I just could not catch my wind. And so I had the ladies call my wife and tell her, to come get me because I couldn't breathe. And I had not just a physical ailments going on. I had some things in my head that I had to get out too, and I had just a bunch of stuff going on, and on top of the injury. But so I get back here, and she's telling me, you need to go to the ER. No, I'm good. I get on the couch, I'll be all right. So that night I tossed and turned because I could not I couldn't breathe. So I never really truly went to sleep. About 4 o'clock that morning, Amy comes downstairs and she just said, I'm not going into work. I'm gonna get you in with, your primary doctor because you need to be seen. Something ain't right. Okay, At that point, I wasn't arguing. So got an appointment to go to my doctor, and we got there. He done a chest X-ray. He sent me through as many tests as he could before he had to send me out of the office because, he's a family physician.
Sure. But you guys, when we got to the doctor's office before Dr. Himberis, and that's our physician's name, even got inside of the room, I'm assuming the nurse had already told him what, Turgic was doing in the room. I heard him outside, and he said, I need an EKG. I need a chest X-ray on him. Go ahead and draw some blood. And he said, let's go ahead and draw some blood, and we'll get the result from then. I actually thought he was talking about another patient. But this is before he even stepped into that other room, which was crazy. So it still didn't dawn on me. This is something real, like what could it be? My first thing thinking with the way that he was acting was congestive heart failure. That's what I was thinking, because immediately, these are signs where you don't have breath, you feel like somebody's stepping on your chest. He had no pain though, y'all. He had no pain whatsoever with this. He just couldn't breathe. So the doctor ordered all of that stuff, and when he came in to CT, he immediately looked at him and he was like, yeah. He didn't tell us then what he expected it was. He just said, this is what we're going to do, And we did all of that stuff that he said, and he was like, I'm looking at your chest X-ray. That's looking good. Lungs are looking well. I want to do a CT. And he was like, I feel like I can get a better picture of that. He said, because what you got going on, he said, it's kind of scary. He said, we want to get it, taken care of. So it was like, okay, cool. Me and him both. Okay, we'll do whatever you say. So they're getting ready to let us go. And then he sent in his student. And he said, do you mind if one of my students come in and just look at you? Because this is a rare case of PE that we don't normally see. And he said, and I want him to look at it. And we are like, yeah, okay. At the time, it didn't dawn on me what he was saying until later when the whole word was said. And I was like, oh, crap. He said that, but he didn't. It just didn't dawn on me. So he let his student come in. We did all that. We left. Went and got the CT done. And that's when Turgie realized he was allergic to the dye. He's allergic to the contrast in the CT. The contrast that they have.
We had to take that, and I couldn't take the test. So, I had to basically come back home, get out the car, struggle to get back in the house, to the couch. Amy was sleepy, tired. She had been up, and by the time she got her head on the pillow, my doctor was calling back, and he was excited, and not in a positive way. He was like, dude, I really need to get you to the ER. You just tell me which one you want to go to, and I'm going to call ahead to make sure you're okay. And I just told him I'd go downtown. And so now I'm struggling twice as bad. I got to go all of 15 feet from the couch to the car. There ain't nobody here big enough to pick me up, so I got to do it. So it was a struggle, and I finally got to the car, and Amy took off, and she pulled me up at the ER, got me in a wheelchair. Matter of fact, while she was going to park the car, the security guard came and actually wheeled me up to the ER, and they just started talking, just taking all my stuff down. They had all my stuff in the computer. They took my vitals, and that's when I think it kicked in, because the lady said, his heart rate is 132 beats a minute. And I thought that, normal heartbeats at what, 95? Something ain't right, So they grabbed me, took me back.
They were on it.
Yeah, they were
on it. I've never seen
I've
anybody
never seen
move
anybody
that
move
fast.
like that. And so I'm really grateful for the people at Prisma and that were in the ER that day. And
As soon as they got him hooked up, they got him hooked up to the machines and all of this, and I mean it was really quick on them doing all of that. And as soon as they hooked him up, they did the leads and stuff for the heart machine and all. And he's right, his heart rate in the ER, his heart rate in the ER is like ranging between 127 up to 132. His oxygen stat was 85. It was 85. Then the highest it got before oxygen was maybe 88. The doctor came in immediately, told us what he was going to look for. Turgid is super, super, super hard stick. His veins are like invisible. You cannot get blood from him whatsoever. So they had to bring in an ultrasound machine just to find his veins in order to give him in order to do the IV. He had so many people poking and prodding on him, but the doctor was trying to see if he could find a blood clot in either leg or chest or lung. So he was in there doing the ultrasound machine, trying to see if he could do a blood clot. He was pushing all on Turgid's legs, growing, back, chest, and I could tell he was uncomfortable. The doctor was, struggling too, and he was like, I don't see any blood clot. He said, but all the signs are telling me that there's a blood clot somewhere. He said, so you're allergic to the contrast. We're going to send you to nuclear medicine. He said, when you get down there, he said, this is what's going to happen. But this is what got me, you guys, and the crap was really real, is the doctor came in and he looked at Turgid and he said, look, he said, I'm sending a nurse with you. He's like, you're going with him. I need you to stay with him. Do you understand me? Stay with him. Don't leave him. And I was like, oh, okay. I'm sitting there looking like he wasn't talking to me. He was talking to the nurse. So he looked at Turgid. He said, when you get there, they're going to put you on a table and they're going to probably lay you flat. If you cannot breathe, you speak up. He said, if you are uncomfortable in any type of way, you let them know. He said, I need them to bring you back here. If you get there and it doesn't work, he said, we'll go another route. But you do not have to go through that in order for me to figure out exactly what's going on. And I'm like, okay. And I'm like, okay, I couldn't go with them. So Turgid nodded, said he understood. They took off and they went to nuclear medicine.
So it took I probably was gone an hour. And, finished that up, got back, and it wasn't maybe 30 minutes at the max. The doc stuck his head in and he said, it's just what I thought it was. He said, you got a clot in your lung. And he said, you couldn't have waited. You couldn't have waited anymore because it's only got one other place to stop, and that's the heart. And we ain't here talking. So that kind of, it kind of do something to you. So when Amy finally comes back, I'm telling her, she said, I got a problem with that. And I'm like, huh? She said, I'm trying to figure out why you so calm with it. And I didn't really have no words for her, I'm like, okay, this is what these folks telling me. So later on, probably an hour later, he sends me back out of the room to have a echocardiogram done on my legs. So I get in there with that technician, and we talking, and da 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 da. I only knew something was wrong or something was going to come out of it when she kind of slowed up and started really taking a lot of images. I'm like, okay, something ain't right, but I ain't saying nothing. You know, I'm just ready to get back and try to get comfortable. And probably about 30 minutes after I got back to the room, he came back again. He said, you got multiple wounds in your right leg too. He said, so I got to keep you at least 48 hours. We're going to put you on a heparin drip to thin the blood to eliminate the clot. Okay, you know, whatever you say, Doc. I mean, at this point, I'm not the argumentative Taurus. I'm the one that's kind of sitting there dumbfounded, you know. And then when he came back later and explained why it had probably got to that point, and which was me not being able to get up like I normally can, and I'm just sitting here every day, that these things actually form in your legs and move upward. So the mere fact that I wasn't mimicking or doing any kind of exercise that mimicked walking, that's where they believe it came from. So now, you know, I'm sitting here, you know, and Amy's here, and it became scary, real scary. I know it was scary for her, definitely was scary for me, even to, you know, my kids, you know, because they didn't really understand what was going on. But if it's one thing I will say is that even in all the madness, Amy kept us all real cool. Not just me, you know, the kids too, and anybody that was in that right circle of concern. You know, she done as best she could to make sure that they knew what was going on.
They admitted him that day. We went to the hospital at 4 o'clock on Tuesday. He didn't get home until Friday. They started him on the heparin drip. That night, he was on heparin. They had the pulmonologist coming in and out. He got PT, physical therapy while he was in there. His blood sugar, that was another thing that I didn't mention. When he went inside to the ER, that was another thing that was high. His blood sugar was 500. So they were trying to get his blood sugar down as well. So they was giving him insulin. They came in and they had to draw blood gas from him to get his numbers from that. They were sticking him from left to right. I know he was super tired of it, but at the same time, he also wanted some answers. So we were hoping we would get answers from the back, but we went in because he had a pulmonary embolism. So we could have lost him that night. If he hadn't went to sleep, more than likely we wouldn't have even made it to the emergency room, or emergency team wouldn't have made it here. Y'all, the whole time through all of this that we have been through, the falls, the no answers, the immobility, the anxiety, the trauma of it all, you know, and then on top of that, we are in a nationwide spread of a coronavirus, so everybody's being quarantined. At the same time, you guys, when all of this stuff started happening, I just kept praying, I kept trusting, I kept believing that no matter what, as long as I pray and as long as I stay faithful, God will reveal himself. He will answer. He will give us what we need in order to make it. And he did just that. When T went down, the very beginning of February, couldn't get it back and forth, trying to make sure that he was able to get his physical therapy, was able to get to his appointments, be okay at home by himself while I'm at work. The struggle of all of that was so real. I didn't know how we were going to get our son from school, how we were going to get him to practice, how we were going to get him to games, let alone come home, have to do everything when you're so used to being in this situation where there's a two-person home or there's a two-person job. When you're down to that one person, you don't know what that other person does until they're taken out of the equation. So when that falls all on you, you become, one, more thankful for when you did have the help, and then two, you open up your eyes to see also what life could be like if there was not that person, or how would you handle it? How are you going to handle it in this situation? I feel like that was our test. That was my test. I can only speak for myself. That was my test. And I feel like with all of that, I just kept remaining humble. I kept looking for the positive out of the situation. And there was positive in every single situation. Even on the day where he fell off the porch, there was positive within that. He may have fallen off of the porch. He didn't hit his head. He didn't break a limb. And somebody was able to get to him. It could have been that much worse. So, I just kept being thankful for things like that. But at the same time, like I said, there was worries in it too. Because I didn't know how I was going to get our son. I didn't know how any of that was going to go. But each day when I prayed, the more I prayed, the more God revealed himself. And that was even without me having to ask. So there were people coming into play, taking on the responsibility or wanting to help us in order to make the situation lighter. We had so many friends and family that came forward. If it was just as little as them just saying, hey, how you're doing, was enough for us to keep pushing on. We had friends that came over to help us with our son. We had people that was able to come in and help us. We had family that came in to cut Turgie's hair, who came to us to do stuff like that. Just well wishes, all of that, you guys. And then here comes the outbreak, where it's becoming a little bit more dramatic than what we was expecting it to be, which was of the coronavirus. And in some people's cases, they're like, oh my God, they're closing school. Oh my God, like this is crazy. This why are they doing all this? Why are they doing that? I wasn't going to question, because in my case, I was saying thank you, Jesus, because that helped my situation. How did it help our situation? I didn't have to figure out how I was going to get my son from school. My husband was here every day. That also gave me a person here that was here to help him if I wasn't here to help him, with me being at work. So there was just positivity that was coming, that was trumping the whole negative part. Even while we were in the hospital, there was still more positive coming out of it. And that's what I kept telling Turgie. Even through the midst of all of that, and it seemed bad to the naked eye, the more we talked about it, and when people actually seen it, the pictures that I may have posted, and they seen the oxygen going through him, they seen him in a hospital gown. I've seen my husband at his worst. That's why that's one of our vows, for better or for worse. I have seen him at his worst, and it still made me appreciate him that much more, because God also reveals the positivity within that situation that nobody can actually come in and give you. And I would just tell my husband, even with it right now, even in your situation right now, I know you feel bad, but is it really that bad? Is it really that bad? And I was like, there's somebody else that's out there going through it way worse.
And I think that was more, I guess, the days I was sitting here on the couch, and you want to get up, and then I'm watching videos of people who are actually paralyzed, have no way that they can walk, and they're doing
They're doing it.
They're doing it. Like,
Every
and
day.
so I'm just sitting there going
Like they got legs.
dude, you got to push.
Mm-hmm.
My biggest thing is, and anybody will tell you, is my grandbaby. So when my grandbaby say, Papa pick me up, and I can't, that killed me. You know, so, I have to learn, I had to get that motivation to get rolling again.
And I know this video was long, and I know it was winded, but the major thing within it that we want you guys to take from it, the message that is in it, is that no matter your situation, no matter where you stand, know that if you have faith and you keep pushing, and even if it doesn't go the way that you want it to go, still try to find some positivity out of that, because there is some. It is some positivity, and there's people that will surround you with positive vibes, and those that don't surround you with it, they weren't meant to be there anyway. But the people that are there to help lift you and comfort you are the ones that God placed in your circle, and they're there for a reason. I can't tell you how many people came to aid, how many people reached out, how many prayers that were, being said. God heard you. God heard you. I'm here to tell you He heard you, because this is your prayer right here being answered. And we are so thankful and gracious for you guys and staying with us and keeping us there. Pulmonary embolism is a very serious thing. T does have checkups very regularly. This was something that happened so unexpectedly, but through it all, it has taught him how to not be so stubborn, and when you're sick, own it. Know that right now I don't feel well. I'm sick, and I might need to go to the doctor, whatever it may be. And I know that part of that was he felt like he was pushing me too much. And there were some days that I felt like I was being pushed too much. But there was always that voice that kept telling me, there is somebody out there worse than you. There's somebody out there worse than you. You got it. You got this. You can do it. That's a little bit more. Just a little bit more. There were days I was very aggravated. There was a lot of days where I was very frustrated. There's been so many days that I have cried tears of, not knowing what the next step was. But that's one thing within the last 4 weeks that I've learned within myself, is not to count on tomorrow, not to count on the next 5 minutes. I am a pre-planner. I like to write everything down. That just really went out of the window. And I've had to start learning how to take everything day by day and for the right now. Because my pre-planning didn't do anything, honestly. So, we are very thankful for where we are right now. He gave the whole family a scare. But we're on the road to recovery. He still is not able to completely walk without help. He is still on a walker. Right now, we are hoping to very soon we may be able to graduate to a cane. He's still doing physical therapy. He is still on blood thinners. He will be on blood thinners for a minute until they pull him off. So now he has added a pulmonologist to his list of doctors. He is not on that much medicine like you would have thought. You would have thought that he would have left the hospital and came home on insulin, because I was sure they was going to do that, but he didn't. He only left the hospital coming home on 3 pills. One of those, or actually 2 of those in one, pretty much, is blood thinner, and the next one is for his cough. Y'all, even with all of this coronavirus and stuff that's going around, the hospital was ghost. When I tell you it was ghost, like they were on point. He's healing. He's getting better day by day. I will start to have videos up now, hopefully daily, of his progress. So you'll start to see things like that. I just wanted to have a sit down to explain why we are where we are, what happened to get us to where we are now. And so you guys wouldn't be confused when I started posting the videos up about what, you know, like why he's walking this way, or why is this milestone, or why are we clapping to saying that this is happening, yada yada, so you wouldn't be confused. I wanted to do a video so that you guys could understand where we've been. And if you do end up having the virus, then may God bless you. I hope that you get better. And again, if you don't have the virus, then be safe and be mindful of those out there that are sick, and try to stay home and listen to what people are trying to tell you, because they're only doing it for your safety. I work in medical field, and it is very important that we stay clean, that we sanitize, that we stay healthy, so that we can keep our patients in the best health that we possibly can, and treat them the way that we can. And it will help even if you have a common cold, just to stay home. Make sure that you wash your hands and keep sanitized. But yeah, we will make sure that we try to keep you guys updated. If you are new, thank you for watching. If you have any questions or comments, we will try to make sure that we answer them the best that we can. This will probably be this big guy's job, because right now all he has is this couch and TV in front of him and his phone. So he can kind of go back and forth and answer you guys' questions the best way that he can. And if you just want to continue to pray for us, we accept that. Also, well wishes, you know, we take everything, you know, that you guys offer. We have missed you. We really have. We have missed you, but we're going to try to get back on point. Again, apologize for this video being so long. I know that we were just rambling, but I wanted you to get as much information that we possibly could give to you. His final diagnosis is he had arthritis and cartilage deterioration in his knee. He did get a cortisone shot in his knee to help with that. His back, his MRI showed that his lumbar spine, he has a bulging disc in the lumbar area. The treatment of that right now is going to be self-healing. They're hoping that PT, which is physical therapy, will try to heal to where that disc actually moves back into place where they want it to be, so it can cause him
on
the nerve, because that's what's causing him not to be able to walk, is that he has nerve damage right there. If it doesn't work, then the next step will more than likely have to be surgery, but we're praying that it's self-healing and we don't have to go underneath the knife. The pulmonary embolism that he had, he's on blood thinners, which is going to help him, or help his blood not to clot. He's going to try to move around a little bit more. His diabetes is under control right now. He's trying to watch his diet, stay regulated, and keep all of that under control. So that is the final prognosis of Mr. Pollard, and trying to get him healthy. And as far as the family, we are doing what we can at this moment to just stay uplifted. So let us know your stories too, if you've actually gone through something like this, as far as the back, it making you immobile, how you actually came through it, if you're still trying to overcome it, tips that may have helped. Also, pulmonary embolism, let us know any of that. And you know, we're new to this, so we really don't know. But yeah, we appreciate you guys for watching. If you enjoyed, of course, give it a thumbs up. We hope that you will continue to stick around and join us. We do hope that we have more to come. We're hoping that this is something big that God has just started with us, and that the road ahead is going to be absolutely amazing. So we can just only press on to see. So we love you guys. Again, thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you in our next videos.